I hereby call to order this meeting of the Stow-Munroe Falls City Schools Board of Education on Monday, September 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m. I will do roll call. East Jenkins.
Here.
Merletti.
Here.
Sheehan.
Here.
Sodolnik.
Here.
Wind. Here. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everything we do is designed to provide a future-ready, student-centered learning experience for every single child. Our strategic plan for 2021 through 2026 will help us accomplish this goal by considering every facet of a student's learning experience, from curriculum to infrastructure to wellness and everything in between. As members of the Board of Education, we serve as trustees. Therefore, this is a business meeting being conducted in public, not a public meeting. We are grateful to serve an engaged community and therefore encourage and respect input from citizens. We expect that everyone present will behave in a manner consistent with the behavior we expect of our students. We reserve the right to have those who do not comply removed from our meeting. Okay, next item. We need to appoint a treasurer pro tem. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Any nominations for our treasurer pro tem? I'll nominate Ms. Sue Hodolnik.
I'll second.
Any others? Okay. Now we need to vote. Ms. Hodolnik, will you call the roll on that one?
Jenkins. East Jenkins.
Aye.
Merletti. Aye. Sheehan.
Aye.
Sodolnik. Aye. Wind.
Aye. Thank you. Next item of business, we have comments from the audience. At this time, we welcome any comments and concerns citizens wish to bring before the Board of Education. All comments must be directed to the entire board and be no longer than 3 minutes. We will listen to and consider your remarks, but there will be no conversation aside from clarifying questions. If you are seeking a direct response or further information, we ask that you submit your request in writing. Please begin your remarks with your first and last name.
As people are coming up, I do have a point of order. There was an article in the paper on September 3rd, so I think that was after the agenda was set on the issues with buses. And Stowe was mentioned in that particular article. So I would like to make a motion that we add to the a discussion item to would be item C after new business to discuss the issue with the district buses.
Is there a second? Okay, seeing no second, we will move on. Mr. Sheehan, if you would like to submit that item for our next meeting and share the article with the rest of us, that'd be much appreciated. Do we have any comments?
As I was passing out flyers and information about the school district, I was accosted by the president of the board and her minions.
Rules for public comment include addressing the entire board rather than a certain member. Thank you.
I'm not really. This is going to just include you all, remember. And also, I am addressing an agenda that is an item on your agenda. Wearing campaign T-shirts and standing in front of the Democrats' table at the Sunset Blast, waving their flyers and screaming I was a liar. This group parked people on the other side of the tent to harass a candidate running for school board, pushing flyers at people, maintaining he was also a liar. I was accused of violating campaign law because my flyer did not have names and financial data listed. I am not a candidate. Campaign law does not apply to me. There are no candidates' names on my paperwork. The paper that I passed out to you was distributed by the board president at the Sunset Blast. I would like to know if this was a joint effort approved by the superintendent and the other board members. But let's break down these other facts. No matter what is said, uniforms for the band have not arrived. The levy in 2022 was passed with the promise that pay to play would be removed. This board was also added fees to the 25-26 school year for K to 8th grade. I would also like to see this balanced budget, and I have requested a copy of this budget, which I have not received. This board did indeed appoint a student rep who they allowed to participate in executive session. The credit cards, 22 people, really? And you can guarantee all purchases were approved. Well, then why have the November 2024 DoorDash charges never shown up as disputed or been refunded? Why are workers' comp charges placed on the credit card? These credit card charges average $30,000 to over $60,000 a month, and I am questioning how much oversight has happened. The statement about Bratton will likely cause you legal issues. Bratton made restitution and was not charged. I'm not saying this was right, but the current president was on the board who gave Bratton a new contract in July 2023, then gave him an addendum contract in December 2023, allowing the waste of over $500,000 in salary, benefits, and severance pay. I know the president hijacked this posting with his name on it. The whole debacle that took place at the Sunset Blast needs addressed by the administrators and the school board. Your 5-year plans tell us nothing about what you are spending money on. We only know that you spend more and more.
I will take a brief second to clarify one important fact. That flyer that you shared with us is clearly stated on the bottom of the flyer that it was produced by the SMF Dems Club, not the board.
Scott Simpkins. The financially irresponsible flyer that was being passed out at Summer Sunset Blast contained information retrieved from 15 months of credit card statements and 2 years of check registers. Majority of the money on the flyers does not pertain to teachers, just administration. Despite the fact the treasurer and several board members remarked during a meeting that neither myself or the public could understand or comprehend the data of the credit cards and check registers, I assure you that I was able to discern a lot of data from those documents. Please note the flyers that each of you received. It became painful clear that money was being wasted. In the past 2 years, credit card abuse, 4+ lawsuits because some of the board members won't follow the rules. And shall we talk about the lies? When it finally came out that a new field house was in the works, we heard about donated money. When the treasurer let it slip during a board meeting that $1.8 million from the general fund had been spent on the field house. The spreadsheet I have compiled shows that over $6 million went to Beaver Construction. Then when you add in all the other charges, running utilities, buying sports equipment, buying a dishwasher and a refrigerator for Bratton, all worked to over $9 million, and it's still not done. 34 people get cell phone reimbursement. The majority are all administration. Considering a spending freeze happened, and it's been obvious that money has been shuffled from different accounts, continuing education is a part of all licensed professionals. The fact is, school districts are relying on tax money, when many people have to pay their own dues, pay their own registration costs, and certainly must pay for travel, hotels, and meals. It seems excessive to see the administration taking retreats, staying at high-end hotels and expensive meals, all on the taxpayer dollar. After all the money I was able to uncover, you need to think long and hard how you're going to continue. Much of what this board and district has done has not been with taxpayer approval. You continue to tout the master plan with new plans. but the same old amount of money. It's time for a new plan, a new amount of money directed towards the school buildings, and we can only hope to see new faces on the school board.
Good evening. My name is Amy Messmore-Jones. I just wanted to thank most of the board again for all your hard work and being as transparent as you can about the comments that two others have stated this evening. I would really like to see the facts and citations and where they have come from. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rachel Jameson. I'm an alumni of Stow-Munroe Falls School District. I'm here tonight to share my concerns regarding a document that was recently shared on social media by a member of the Board of Education. This document describes public schools as a hive mind deep state, discourages families from enrolling their children in public schools, and promotes rhetoric that is openly hostile to the very institution this board is elected to support. For a sitting board member to share such a message is troubling and undermines the responsibility entrusted to them by this community. The content of this document is alarming. It disparages teachers' unions, accuses schools of indoctrination by comparing them to dictators like Lenin, Hitler, and Mussolini, and promotes school choice and the privatization of public education. It dismisses mental health resources, including the 988 Suicide and Crisis Hotline, as weaponized, and attacks DEI by claiming it should stand for didn't earn it, while calling for DEI to die. It criticizes school libraries, anti-bullying programs, social emotional learning, the separation of church and state, comprehensive sex education, LGBTQIA+ initiatives, and more. It is laced with extreme political rhetoric and conspiracy theories, even going so far to frame artificial intelligence as a weapon against children, while repeatedly citing Grok, which is an AI chatbot developed by Elon Musk. It is deeply concerning that a member of this board would circulate material that devalues public schools and spreads misinformation. Instead of undermining trust in our schools, board members should be focused on supporting students, teachers, and families, and ensuring that our schools remain safe, welcoming, and provide a quality education that prepares students for the real world. I'm also concerned about how sitting board members are engaging on social media, particularly as the upcoming November election heightens tensions. A small but vocal group of community members have repeatedly attacked board members online, sometimes with rhetoric that dangerously approaches calls for violence. To see a member of the Board of Education comment on another member's post in an attempt to fan these flames is not only unprofessional, but also harmful to the public's trust in this board. While it is to be expected that members of the board will have differences in opinions and ideals, they should hold themselves to a certain standard when interacting publicly. Sharing inflammatory political material and fueling personal attacks against a fellow member crosses a line. I urge the board to recommit to its mission, to advocate for public education, and to ensure every student in Stow-Munroe Falls has access to a safe, supportive, and high-quality education. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all for participating. Seeing no further comments, we will move on to superintendent's recommendations. First up,
Good evening, everyone. At this time, I would like to recommend the following personnel recommendations.
do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion, questions? Okay, roll call, please.
East Jenkins,
Aye.
Merlitti, aye. Sheehan,
Aye.
Stuadolnik, aye. Wind,
Aye. Next.
At this time, I would like to share information in regards to cybersecurity program and resolution. It's policy 7540.01.
Do I have a motion? So moved. Sorry. Second. Go ahead, Dr. Gold.
This policy is coming out of House Bill 96. If everyone is very familiar with this House bill, it has several different items in it, but tonight I'm focusing in on just one of those items, and it is around cybersecurity. So before we begin, there's two definitions that I want to share in regards to this policy. One is in regards to the definition for cybersecurity, as well as one for ransomware. And when we think about cybersecurity, we want to think about the practice that is happening or about how we protect our usage for technology. And ransomware is actually the attack that happens to software where it can access any of our data that is in our system. So when we talk about this House bill, this House bill was required that all school districts, including some governmental municipalities, adopt this particular program, and it must be adopted by September 30th of 2025, this particular policy. It requires us to have a safety plan in place, and when we think about our safety plan, you want to think about like a fire drill, like what are our plans, how do we go about the procedures to protect our technology and our data. And so I'm asking the board for a formal adoption so that we can begin to set the standards and put them in place that we need to for this particular policy. The question is, does it cost the district any extra money? Right now, no, there is no extra money that or immediate expenses that we need to incur because we currently work with the Northeast Ohio technology group known as NeoNet, and they continue to help us with implementing and providing resources to keep us in a line with this. And this will also help us be in a line with the state law, as well as we continue to look at this because this is number one threat that is really happening to a lot of school districts across the country. So how does this affect our staff and students? Well, we want to definitely protect all of our student and staff information. And so it reduces our risk for hackers coming along, disrupting us so that we cannot do what we need to do in classes. And so it also provides for us clear procedures that we need in response so that we can act quickly and responsibly in the event of a ransomware. So why is this important currently? We would be in compliance because most K-12 schools, as I said, are considered high-risk targets where people try to get information, and we all know to use it not responsibly. We want to make sure that we have student and staff data protected, as well as trying to mitigate those risks of cyber attack. Compliance is important, but the protection of our learning environment is truly the true driver for this. So why is the policy written so broadly? It's written that way because as we know, threats and changes happen rapidly about what is happening. And so we want to provide a policy that is broad enough that we can continue to assign any type of responsibility that we need to our director of operations and also our district technology person to continue to update us on any processes and procedures that may come out with this. Per this particular policy, the board will receive confidential copies of any updates made to the program whenever there's an update made to that or guidelines. And we want everyone to know that this will remain informed without exposing sensitive security details because there are certain things that we have to keep confidential in this process. So how does it address ransomware? So you have many Ohio Revised Codes 9.0 0.64. Many of these have something to do with cybersecurity. It requires a district to have clear procedures for responding to ransomware. It prohibits us from making any type of payments unless that is brought to the board, so that the board is aware of what those payments are, and the board would have to authorize making those payments to be in compliance if needed in a ransomware type of demand. So what are our timelines? Our timelines are for the district to adopt the policy and program. This will help us to meet those incident requirements. The deadline for having everything in place is July 1st of 2026. For the upcoming school year, this gives us an opportunity to do full implementation. And it's not to say that we don't have anything in place right now, because we do with our partners who are assisting us at Neonet, but it helps us to really spell out everything that we need to provide training for our staff and really take a look at everything that we have going on within our system. Okay. So any questions in regards to this?
Yeah, I have a few. It says on here, due to the emergency necessity of the policy, it will not go through 3 readings. How did this become an emergency?
Because it has to be approved by September 30th, 2025 from the governor's office.
And when were we first made aware of this?
We were made aware of this in August of 2025.
So wouldn't they have been aware of the procedure as far as having 3 readings and changing the policy? Are they foregoing that? Is the
recommendation I'm making tonight, because of what I have been afforded information on, is so that we can get this policy in place so we can move forward and be in state compliance with our legal requirements based on the governor's recommendation.
So based on that timeline, we couldn't have possibly had 3 readings based on the
Not when we had
limitations that they gave us.
Not based on when we had our board meeting, no.
All right, and then this would be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5, it says provide mandatory cybersecurity training awareness for all staff. When and where will this be done?
So that is the timeline that we will be working on. Right now, we're going to look at the board policy. As we continue to move forward around December, we'll be looking at assessment, training, those type of things. By March, we should be able to have a detection of our tools, other trainings, and any other vendors that we may need to put in place. And then we'll have our annual risk for approval by July 1st.
Right. So our first training would be on the docket for December.
Yes. And the next one would be March.
Okay. And then next one, number 6, ensure all technology service providers and vendors with the district with access to the district systems or data contractually commit to maintaining cybersecurity practices and promptly reporting any security incidents. Who is that? Who is doing that?
So that is our technology supervisor along with Neonet.
Right.
And Neonet assists us with some of that now.
And
But this is in the event that we need to look at the contracts that we have to maintain the requirements that we need for compliance.
all right, and then that next one, document cybersecurity incidents and provide an annual cybersecurity status report to the board. So when it says an annual, what time of the year do you anticipate that to be?
Well, since the policy won't be in place until July 1st of 2026, then that's when you would
So you'd
receive an
say-
annual report. So
Well,
we would
we
give
wouldn't
some-
have one yet because we're just starting. So like July, I guess, would be the month. We'd be looking at the month of July as far as that. If it's starting July 1st and 26, we would look at a report on July 1st of 27.
Well,
Is that-
I would give you a baseline so that
Okay.
you would know what to look for in 27.
All right. So we're going to say July. And it says assign an oversight of the cybersecurity program to the superintendent, treasurer, and director of operations with responsibility for implementation, updates, and reporting. What, I don't understand that statement. It says assign oversight. So who's assigning oversight?
We, the board, are assigning oversight to those personnel. And those are a little vague so that we have the ability to, in our administrative guidelines, where we outline more specific procedures, to kind of make those adjustable as we need to.
Right. So as I'm making the recommendation to the board in regards to the policy, so we would be working together to make sure that we have the plan in place as well. So that's why you have the superintendent, the treasurer, the director of operations, and the technology director listed there.
It doesn't appear that you're reading the same document that was distributed and isn't attached to the agenda, based on what I'm looking at and what you're saying. Can you refer to the document that was passed out this evening? I see the one that you're writing on is not the same one, so
Well, it's the one I pulled off the agenda.
it's not
Online.
posted to the agenda. I'm reading it, and it
Well,
says
that's where I got it.
it perhaps has been updated. What you just read is not what's on this paper.
Well, what I got is what I pulled off on the agenda, and if it did get updated, there was no notification that it was updated, which is a continuous problem.
I'm sorry, nothing was updated. I just answered your question.
Yes, but I will say the one you handed me is different than the one that was online.
Okay.
So,
There was an email this morning, Mr. Sheehan, with this attached, and then it was again provided to each of our board members prior to the meeting as we arrived, which is not ideal timing, granted, but it was provided.
that's all the questions I have.
So just to make sure that I'm understanding the timing, this was passed this summer during the budget process, correct?
Passed this summer during the budget process, and then an outline of House Bill 96 was done more in depth in August of 2025.
Okay. So from there, we then had to generate the policy that we're proposing, the resolution to go with it. So that takes a minute. And now we're at a point where there is no time for 3 readings in order to be in compliance with state law. Essentially, the legislature did not give us enough lead time on this. Okay. Correct.
But even if we had 3 readings, we have to do it no matter what. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. So we could have had 15 readings, but this isn't something we get to decide on whether we're going to do or not. It's mandatory.
Yeah, it's mandatory for all school districts and some governmental entities as well.
Anything?
I think it's important to note that we do have processes in place, and that this would just help to enhance what we currently have. So it's not like we don't have anything in place right now.
Correct. We're not starting from scratch. No.
Right.
Dr. Gould, would you say that once this, if this policy is passed, that we have what we need in order to immediately be in compliance with the policy, that these procedures are already in place and this formalizes it?
Yes, this formalizes it, as well as it also gives us a strategic outline of exactly who we need to contact, when we need to contact them, and who would be involved in the event that there is ransomware. So it kind of streamlines some of the organizations from the state that we need to contact as well, and also made sure that we put in place the process of, if there is a ransomware attack, that we have to bring that to the board for approval.
Thank you. Anything further? Roll call, please.
East Jenkins,
Aye.
Merletti,
Aye.
Sheehan,
Aye.
Suadolnik, aye. Wind,
Aye. Next item.
Motion.
We're not voting on it, so we
Okay.
can just discuss.
And so tonight you are also receiving 3 policies that will go through 3 readings. And those 3 policies this evening are a revised version of 2430, which is the participation of community/STEM school students in extracurricular activities. That is just being revised. That is a policy that has been there. 5410, a revision there for promotion, academic acceleration, placement, and retention. And then there is a rescinding of policy 7541, electronic data process and disaster recovery plan, which kind of coincides with the cybersecurity plan, because we are making a plan so we don't need a additional recovery plan.
Okay, so the new policy will replace
Yeah.
that last one that you mentioned. With the other two, are those substantial revisions or technical wording revisions, would you say?
I'd say more technical wording, kind of specific.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I had a few. Does these changes, as I started to try to read through some of them, do they incorporate in this package A anything in regards to student expulsion for severe endangerment?
No.
Administration of medication?
Okay, so these policies that I just read are on students participating in extracurricular activities that come from a community or STEM school. The second one is on promotion, academic acceleration, placement, and retention. And the last one is about a disaster plan.
Okay. All right, there must be more on this. It must be a little bit more expansive, because I'm looking at policy, Neola policy volume 44, number 1, package A.
Remember, I designate out of those policies so that you don't have 20 that you're
Gotcha.
trying to read at one time.
That's all.
Okay. We will move on then to board discussion items. First, item A, Mr. Sheehan, you asked to discuss the coach search.
Yep.
And prior to that discussion, I will remind everyone at the table that in terms of discussing employment with the district, we can discuss policies, procedures in public, and if we need to discuss specific personnel, then we will need to excuse ourselves into executive session to consider the employment of a public employee. Mr. Sheehan, what was your concern?
I just want to know where this stood. Both these coaches resigned in June. We are now in September. At least to my knowledge, there haven't been, these positions have not been assigned. So I just want to know where we are with that.
I'll have Mr. Love come up and share what's going on in that process.
Excuse me. Yeah, for those positions, so what we've done is we've posted the positions. We post them online. We also seek out potential people that could be interested, especially as we see, our people turning it in. So just kind of generally speaking of the process, we post those positions. We then look at the resumes that we have. We look at the information that we have on the potential candidates. We then determine who would make sense to be as far as like an interview committee. And we go through that process, and we go through our rubric. So in regards to these positions, we're still working through that. We're still working through the process. We also look through recommendations to make sure that we're getting a good fit. So yes, it takes time, but we are still working through those processes.
Now, based on what happened a few months back with these supplementals, if I'm correct now, they always go out and are posted to current staff members. Is that right? Don't
Yep.
they get the right of first refusal?
Yep. So our staff
Okay.
internally sees that.
Okay, so when was that first posting?
When we posted these positions, we posted them right away as soon as they became available.
So you're saying they were posted to staff in June? Around, I mean, that's when both of these coaches resigned.
Yeah. When after the board acts on it and we have those, and we have those openings, we posted those.
Okay. And I'm assuming, what do you wait, 5, 10 days is the kind of your rule of thumb?
Typically, it depends on each situation, but yeah, we post it. It's usually about usually about 5 days and goes external. Actually, usually about 3 days and goes external. And then we wait to see kind of after about 5 to 10 days, like you had said, to see kind of how many people we have interested in the position, and then we go from there.
And so I can assume, since that we did not have any staff that applied for either one of those positions.
I don't believe so.
Okay. What's the next step? How do you go to promoting this position, or not promoting it, advertising this position after no staff steps forward?
Yeah, sure. So we are tied in with different organizations like the educational service centers around. So we post information out about those, about our open positions there. We do that weekly, through those ESCs that we have availability. We also share this, through if we do job fairs as we're looking for people, as we're hiring for different positions, we look and see different interests, but then also promoting it from the athletic world of knowing, if there's club teams in the area, different things like that, and just trying to drum up interest as well.
And has there been a committee for either one of those sports?
Yes.
Of parent, and what are these committees made up of?
Yep. It depends, and every situation is going to be a little different. A lot of times it's educators, people in our districts, also people who maybe have experience with, especially if it's a sport, with that sport, different things like that, sometimes including parents as well.
But
Depends on every situation.
Do we have those right now for boys lacrosse and boys baseball?
We do have a committee for boys baseball right now. Boys lacrosse, we're looking for assistant coaches right now.
So we have a head coach for boys?
That was recommended, yes.
Okay. So boys lacrosse at this point has a head coach?
Yes.
That just needs to be approved?
And I'll have to look back. I believe that's already been approved.
It already has been approved?
I believe so.
Wouldn't that have shown up in our recommendations?
I think it's already been through a recommendation. I have to see when the date was, but I believe that's been some time.
Okay. All right, so boys head coach, we're good to go. Baseball?
We're working through our committee process.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm encouraged that they have one for boys lacrosse. And then he now in turn is going to be able to kind of handpick his assistants.
Yes, works with the athletic department, works with us, but yes, they get to be a part of that decision.
Do you have any guess on baseball as far as what your?
Our hope is to move as soon as we can. I don't have a definite of when it'll be done, but we always hope to do as soon as we can.
Okay. Yeah, just being familiar with that world, my concern is, all right, the, what do we call it? Non-contact period is over.
Sure.
And, spring coaches like to get moving.
Yep.
And, the season's here before we know it. We don't want to hamstring our athletes by not having a coach who can, take charge and get them prepared for the season. So,
Absolutely.
I don't know, what entanglements there are, but, that was 4 months, and it would have been nice to have a baseball coach in place, so.
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Love?
The boys lacrosse coach was approved on the August 18th meeting.
Thank you, Dr. Gold. Mr. Love, I assume that in any given summer, there are a number of supplementals that HR has to work through. Can you talk to me a little bit about how you prioritize the timing of those supplementals?
Yeah, absolutely. It's difficult, especially with sports too, because like we talked about, sports are a year-round game now. And it's trying to get through that and trying to get that as quickly as possible. Ideally, we'll get them all done right away. I will say our priority is definitely when we're in the summer is trying to get fall, then winter, and then spring. We don't always go in that order because it just depends on each situation. But as ideally you want to get them as soon as you can. But probably fall comes first, and then winter, and then spring.
Is there? I will apologize because I am not as sporty as some folks. Is there a particular time by which you're aiming to have those coaching staffs in place for fall sports, winter sports, spring sports?
Sure. I don't love this answer, but the answer is really kind of as soon as we can, as soon as possible. It's a tough balance because our goal is to get them in and working with our athletes, working with our families as soon as we can. But you also want to make sure you have the right decision and have the right people in the room. So it's kind of a tricky balance, but definitely as soon as we can.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions on this topic? Okay, thank you, Mr. Love.
Thanks.
Okay, we will move on to our second discussion item. Mr. Sheehan requested to discuss Summer Sunset Blast. I will admit some confusion about this item, given that that was a city-sponsored event, not a school-sponsored event. Mr. Sheehan?
Now, too, I see that the superintendent handed me this political activities form. Is this because of this particular discussion?
No, I handed that form because I know
Okay.
we're going into political season, and I just want to make the board mindful of
Okay.
what we need to adhere to.
Okay.
Dr. Gould, could you summarize that real quick for our listeners and our community? Pull it back out. I don't want to be talking about something that we haven't shared out about.
So this is administrative guidelines around political activities. It's 3231A. And this primary purpose is just to create an environment that will permit students to grow and develop to their maximum effect. Looking at our academic programs, extracurricular, non-school related activities, including political activities, do not contribute to a positive learning and climate and may be disruptive and divisive and distracting. Therefore, such activities are not appropriate within the school setting. It is the Board of Education's intention to regulate such activities on all board-owned or used properties within the school buildings and at all school-sponsored events. So just reminding staff members participating, or if literature supporting or anything, making sure that we are not on school grounds or looking at candidates' issues, any of those particular point of views, that they are not part of anything that is related to the school and should not be intermingled or intertwined in any kind of way.
Right, so inside our school buildings, inside our school-sponsored
Correct.
activities, there's to be no politicking, no election-related activity.
Correct.
Outside of sporting events, as long as people are not impeding lines or getting in people's way, is acceptable, correct?
Yes, and people have started to contact our athletic director, letting him know that they're going to be there, and that's fine as long as it's outside of the event.
Thank you. Mr. Sheehan?
Okay, so I would like to know, because this piece of paper that Mrs. Simpkins had handed out, it starts out SMF Board of Education. I would like to know who approved this.
Mr. Sheehan, as I said earlier, that document is clearly marked at the bottom that it is paid for by SMF Dems Club. So I would assume they are responsible for the content. That's an election-related matter. It's not board business. Is there an aspect of this that is board business?
Well, yes, this is very much board business because it says SMF Board of Education, and I'm
This
on
is
the Board of Education.
Election-related information activity. This is not board business.
Well, why isn't it board business? I'm on the board. There's a piece of paper being handed out that says SMF Board of Education. I didn't know anything about this.
It's
I didn't
produced,
approve this.
that is campaign material produced by a political organization and is not under the board's purview.
So I was not at Sunset Blast, but I'm looking at these documents. Is it that one of these was being passed out and then the other one was a rebuttal? Is that how that worked?
They were both being passed out at Sunset Blast.
Okay, because looking at them, they both seem to be politically charged and not coming from our superintendent, who would be giving out the information that is accurate and correct. I don't think this is something we need to discuss. Are we going to talk about both forms and go and refute each one of them or refute each one of the board? Like, I don't see how this is related to this meeting.
I would agree.
No, again, I very much, this organization, are you a member of this organization?
This is campaign-related political activity. I still am not seeing a connection to board business, sir.
So I'll take that as a yes. So they're using the SMF
Okay.
Board of
If
Education.
you cannot connect to this policy or this flyer to board business, if you cannot connect this discussion to board business, in the interest of efficiency of our meetings, we will move on. This meeting is for board business, not for discussions of election-related,
I'm
campaign-related
concerned
activity.
that then this organization.
We're
we
going
may
to
have
move on, sir,
We may have.
since you have no board
We
business
may
to
have
discuss.
an identity theft issue going on here because someone is unethically using the SMF
Call the
Board of
question, please.
Education.
Well, we don't have a vote on this, so we can't call the question, but we,
Sorry, I thought you called number 9 adjourned.
yes, it is time to adjourn the meeting. I will accept a motion at this time.
I'll make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second. Roll call, please.
East Jenkins,
Aye.
Merlitty,
Aye.
Sheehan,
No.
Suadolnik, aye. Wind.
Aye. We have completed our business for the evening. Thank you.